We're live.
We're live?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. At this time, we would like to recall to order the meeting of the Suffern Central Board of Education for December 1st, 2020. Let the record reflect that all board members are present. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Student report. Who's going first?
Hi, I'm going first. Okay, so just a quick update for tonight. So on Thursday, December 3rd, we're having a virtual induction ceremony for the National Honor Society. So the board has met virtually this week to put together a nice little video for the new inductees. And this video will be posted on Suffern High School's website this Thursday at 7:00 p.m.
Additionally, there will be an SAT exam administered at Suffern High School on this Saturday, December 5th. And winter sports will unfortunately be postponed until January 4th, 2021. And that's all that we have today.
Oh, it's quick. All right. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1.09 minutes of the regular meeting for November 17th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Mr. McKenzie, second?
Second.
Mr. Cairns, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? Okay. 1.10 minutes of the special meeting for November 25th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Mr. McKenzie, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Shapiro? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. Acting superintendent comments?
Thank you. I have a few comments tonight. First, Matt, maybe could you mute, or Tom? I'm not sure I'm getting.
I'm sorry.
So I have a few comments tonight. First, I want to thank the 5 candidates who were interviewed earlier this evening for the vacant board position. It was, as some of them mentioned, it was so terrific to be with the board and the candidates and just be literally in a virtual room full of people who just care so much about Suffern Central. So I want to thank them all for their candidacy. I also want to talk a bit about today's testing. So let me start by saying I love our community. It is such an honor to be a part of a community that cares so much about taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves. The turnout today was just for our testing at Suffern High School was absolutely overwhelming. My understanding is that yesterday at the Palisades Center, there were 50 people who showed up to be tested. Today, there were 300 at Suffern High School. In fact, because of the traffic on Viola Road and because of just the ability of how much testing the DOH and the nurses could do in the time available, they did test 300 people in 3 hours, but there were people who were turned away. So I'm so appreciative of our community coming out to be tested. I don't have exact numbers, but I do know the positive rate was very, very low today. So that's also promising. I know there's a lot of frustrations. I know there are people who took the day off or part of the day off of work to bring their children in. I know there were people who had prepped and coached their young children and it's going to be okay, and talked to them about what was going to happen, and then they didn't have the opportunity to do it. And as I said in the communication earlier today, I'm sorry that happened. I wish we could have done it another way. In our partnership with the DOH and Good Sam, there was only certain things that we controlled today. And so we did the best we can in the parts we could control. It wasn't ideal. We learned a lot from today, as did the DOH. There are more opportunities to test. Those were also included in today's communication. Tomorrow at Spring Valley High School.
I think we lost her, Matt. You're muted.
Yeah, she froze. Let's see if she comes back.
You're muted.
All right, so I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm having some power issues, it appears. So I think I got turned off right as I was talking about the other opportunities to test. We have tomorrow at Spring Valley High School, Thursday at Rockland BOCES, and Friday at the Palisade Center. The Palisade Center will definitely be a drive-up. I do want to thank our partners at the Rockland County Department of Health and Good Sam for making today possible. You know, we didn't know how many people were going to show up, but it was great to see so many people. But I do, you know, I wish it wasn't frustrating for those that got turned away. I wish that hadn't have happened. I also want to mention on a separate note, our strategic planning focus groups got into full swing tonight. We had a number of the parent meetings tonight and some of the administrators this afternoon. We have a full day of focus groups tomorrow, some more on Thursday and Friday, and additional ones scheduled for next week. So I want to thank in advance all of those who have participated in those focus groups and will be participating. This will be really essential information that will then be collated and analyzed by our DM group and shared with the steering committee on December 16th. So that's all I have for now. And yeah,
All right.
That's it. Thanks.
Great, thank you. 1.12, public participation. This is public participation on action items only. Heather, are you there, Heather? You're there. Okay. Do you have anything to read for this portion?
Not at this time.
Okay. So we'll close that portion of the meeting and we'll move on to action items. So we have action items 2.01 through 2.08. I would call for a consent agenda unless anybody has anything that they wish to pull at this time.
I'd like to pull 2.08.
Okay.
You just want to play.
2.08. Okay. Then let's use a consent agenda for 2.01 through 2.07. So do I have a motion for that?
Moved.
Mr. McKenzie, second.
Second.
Mr. Cairns. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Okay, 2.08. This is the resolution on contract approval for school leadership, which is the superintendent search firm. Do I have a motion for 2.08?
Moved.
Mr. Shapiro, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Donnelly? Discussion.
Yeah, I just like to, there's feedback here. Okay. I just like to say that I think at this time, we're moving too fast in hiring a company. Being that we only had one company reply to our request. You wouldn't go out and buy a car and just not get other reviews or whatever. So being that none of us have ever sat here and gone through this procedure, I think based on the only response we have, is not prudent to move it at this point. We have a commitment from Lee Weber that would, she's indicated that she would stay on board with us until we get through this crisis that without a superintendent. I think Lee has done a tremendous job for the district this far. We still have issues with Dr. Adams. I know his contract expires in June, but I don't know that, being that the contract just expires, that that's going to be the end of the issues here. Based with that in mind, I also question the candidate search. If we're going to be getting a great pool to choose from, based on the status of Dr. Adams. So I would like to see us maybe wait a year, where we can be a little more attentive in this matter. It's a huge position, and it's the future of the district. And again, I just don't think it's the right time for this move. Thanks, guys, for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, I have something to say. I would just like to say that something that Mr. Donnelly said was inaccurate. There wasn't one agency that came to us. There was several different agencies. There was, I believe, 6 total that answered the RFP. And from there, it was narrowed down to 2, and 1 was interviewed in a final interview. So that I think was a little misleading. There was
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was that I think was just a little misleading. There was 1 interviewed in a final interview, but there were several that we sort of sifted through to get it to that point. Just, like I said, I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Okay.
Angus, I don't recall, other than the other night, 1 interview. I don't recall interviewing any other agencies.
So
we didn't get a response from the Western agency.
Right. So there were 6 people that answered. I believe it was 6. Am I right in saying that, Matt?
I think it was 5. I think it was 5 replies to the RFP, and from there were 2 that we were looking to speak with. 1 did not finalize a time to speak with us. So we had the full-on interview with 1, but there were 5 firms that did respond to the RFP.
I agree with that. That we only interviewed the 1 agency.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Then let's take the vote. 2.08. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against?
Nay.
Any abstentions? Okay, thank you, everybody. 3.01, the elementary school CSD highlights. Lee, I will turn it to you.
Thank you. So first, I want to thank all of the elementary schools for being here tonight with us. They do have a recorded presentation, and then will be available for questions and comments. This year's CSD presentation is a little bit different than in the past. the whole CSIP process is a little bit different. Data looks very different this year. What we've been through over the last 9 months, really looks very different. So their presentation really, kind of focuses on what we've been through and where we're going. So I'm very grateful for the elementary principals for their tremendous leadership during the pandemic. They've just gone above and beyond in every way possible. And for putting together, collaborating, and putting together a presentation tonight that really, speaks to all of our students and their needs, and how we're, helping our students to continue to grow and to cope and to move on. So very appreciative of their work. And so Eric is going to share the presentation, and then did you guys want to say anything before, or you'll just talk after?
Are you asking the board, or are you asking the principals?
Principals.
Okay.
We can talk after, Liz.
Okay. So Eric, if you can share that. There we go.
Tonight, we invite you to join us as we take you on a tour of the 5 elementary schools of Suffern Central School District. We are honored to represent each school, and we are proud to share our commitment to the Suffern community.
When we closed our doors on March 13th and reopened our schools remotely 3 short days later, the elementary team united to create a communication that supported our students, their families, and our faculty and staff.
This would be the first of many communications we prepared as a team. Over our time as remote principals, we had multiple virtual meets, daily emails, texts, and phone calls, shared Google Docs, and supported one another as we managed both professional and personal challenges.
Though we were each in our own physical space, miles apart, we managed to establish a stronger connection than we had prior to the pandemic. Our connection has only grown stronger since then, which we know will only strengthen our leadership skills and positively impact all of our students.
As you join us on this virtual tour, you will experience the behind-the-scenes look where we are and where we are going. You will also experience the joy that we see and feel each and every day. We have chosen to showcase these 3 areas that stood out to us the most upon reflection of last spring and in our planning for this fall: relationships, resilience, and rigor. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the adventure as we take you through the doorways of each of our elementary schools.
Hello, my name is Angela Aguilar, and I'm the principal of Cherry Lane Elementary. At Cherry Lane, our mission is to provide our students with a safe, nurturing environment of mutual respect, while inspiring and empowering all of our children to be lifelong learners. Our students are valued for their individuality and diverse potential, taught to contribute to society with knowledge, compassion, vision, and courage.
Hello, my name is Dr. Teresa Ivy, and I'm the principal of Montebello Elementary. Montebello Elementary School is a community of mindful leaders who use their voice to inspire others and profoundly impact the world around them.
Hello, my name is Kelly Benatti, and I am the principal of R.P. Connor Elementary School. At R.P. Connor, we foster a learning environment that encourages everyone to realize his or her fullest potential.
Hello, my name is Dr. William Castline, and I'm the principal of Sloatsburg Elementary School. At Sloatsburg Elementary School, our mission is to develop literate, critical thinkers who possess creativity, character, and practice a healthy living.
Hello, my name is Christine Drost, and I am the principal of Viola Elementary. At Viola Elementary, we educate all students to be self-disciplined, self-directed, critical thinkers, problem solvers, responsible citizens, leaders, and lifelong learners.
Last fall, our annual joint elementary presentation for the Board of Education ended with this quote: "The ability of a group of people to do remarkable things hinges on how well these people can pull together as a team." This sentiment was tried and tested as we transitioned from our traditional brick and mortar schools and in-person learning to remote schooling and Google Meets. Suffern families and school employees bonded together during this challenging time. The relationships established in the first 7 months of school allowed for our connections to continue. As a result, as adults, educators, parents, and caretakers, we shared a common concern for the health and well-being of our students and children. School communities came together and supported one another in whatever way they could in an effort to keep spirits high, bellies fed, and emotions stable.
Through daily morning video announcements, birthday wishes, and car parades, our school-to-home relationships began to transform. In the days and weeks that followed our initial closure, faculty and staff responded to their school community's needs by volunteering to deliver supplies to families, holding socially distant outdoor home visits, making phone calls to check in on students and parents, and supporting families who were ill or suffered a loss. Never were we more human or vulnerable. We all had more questions than answers. But through it all, what stood out the most was the bond we felt across the district with our families. The relationships within the Suffern school community helped us endure the challenges we faced. We supported each other and lifted one another up through our words, actions, and most importantly, listening.
Moving into the new school year, we struggled to see how we could begin remotely when we didn't have pre-established relationships. This proved to be a non-issue almost immediately. In fact, teachers shared that their connections with their children and your families is stronger now than is typical for this time of year. The return to in-person learning has been an incredible and wonderful journey. The students' bright eyes and positive energy have once again filled our halls and hearts. Though our classrooms look different now, the connection that teachers and students have, whether they are learning in school or remotely, is evident. The interactions the students have, regardless of their learning platform, are a result of mindful relationship building, which was our first priority as we began school this year. After all, no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship.
Our first few days of in-person school reminded all of us how resilient our children are. Their response to changes and safety measures has been positive and has been embraced with ease. Students are unfazed by mask wearing, temperature taking, and social distancing. They participate both in person and remotely, and classroom interactions continue regardless of a student's physical location. When some of our schools have closed recently, the students continue their learning and return to school with contagious energy and enthusiasm.
In each of our schools, we promote and speak often about emotional intelligence. Our district's commitment to social emotional learning is reflected in the work we have done with the Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence. We believe Yale EI's research-based philosophy that emotions drive learning, decision-making, creativity, relationships, and health. Their research has supported our work in this area as we teach all of our staff and all of our children how to develop their emotional intelligence. The Yale EI approach is grounded in a system called Ruler, a high-impact and fast-effect approach to understanding and mastering emotions. Ruler has been shown to reduce stress and burnout, improve school climate, and enhance academic achievement.
Along with our teachers, our supportive team of social workers, psychologists, and guidance counselors have been an integral part of implementing this important work. They have collaborated with classroom teachers in the development of classroom charters and have taught students about emotions through literature. Discussions and activities have been centered around their feelings, how they want to feel, and strategies they can take to achieve their best selves. These explicit lessons are designed to teach students a common vocabulary regarding emotions, as well as how to regulate their emotions through reflection and action.
Mark Brackett, founding director of Yale EI and author of Permission to Feel, writes, "Too many children and adults are suffering. They are unaware of their feelings and emotionally unskilled, but they don't have to be. His mission, like ours, is to reverse this course. Emotional intelligence is as important to education as all of the content-specific subjects students learn." Brackett says, "Emotion skills are the key to unlocking the potential inside each one of us. And in the process of developing these skills, we each, heart by heart, mind by mind, create a culture and society unlike anything we've experienced thus far, and very much like the one we might dare to imagine."
The dedication of our teachers to our students' academic and social emotional growth is always at the core of everything they do. And just as they were determined to develop trusting partnerships with their children early on, they are determined to maximize their teaching and learning time regardless of its platform. Being an educator in today's hybrid world is, by far, one of the most challenging experiences for our teachers. However, they, like our students, are resilient, and their response and adaptations to this new environment is commendable.
When you walk into a classroom today, there are physical differences in the arrangement of furniture, group work, and teacher delivery. There are students physically in the classroom, and there are students on screen, in the boxes, who are learning from home. The teachers are managing whole class instruction, small group, and one-to-one instruction, just as they have done in previous years. They have learned multiple internet platforms in such a short period of time. Our staff continues to provide opportunities that encompass critical thinking, problem solving, student engagement, and student time on task during the school day. Teachers continue to assess each student's reading, writing, and math skills and identify strengths and areas for improvement.
We know you too have concerns about the time students were not physically in school last year, and that those concerns may still exist with our hybrid model. Please know that we are doing and will do all that we can to ensure that every child gets what they need to succeed, both academically and social emotionally. This is our commitment to our schools.
Thank you to the Board of Education. We thank you for supporting us.
Thank you for supporting our students.
Thank you for supporting our staff.
Thank you for supporting our community.
Thank you for joining us and all that you do.
Thank you all. It was a great presentation.
That was great. Thank you. I think we should have that music playing in the background during our meetings, though. That was great. Really, thank you.
While I was watching it, my mind kind of drifted away, but not in a bad sense. It drifted back in time. 50 years ago, when I started teaching at an elementary school. And I guess we were just teaching, but not growing as teachers. I really wish I could have had any one of the five of you as my principal, because I think I would have become a better teacher. I would have started off on a much better footing. Really, the five of you, this was wonderful, especially when you consider the situation that we find ourselves in. In all of your administrative courses that you took, no one ever said, so this is what you do during a pandemic. That's for sure. So to all of the five principals, I want to thank you. This was this was great. I want to thank you for the work that you've done, the work that you're doing, and I know the work that you're going to be continued to be doing throughout all of this. And when this is over, and we all hope that that over is coming fairly soon, really, it's going to be great to go and visit you in your buildings and to actually feel the spirit that you have created. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful.
Matt, can I just say if the principal has something they want to add?
Of course.
I guess we'll just, if I could just say thank you again on behalf of all of us, and I'm sure that they'll speak as well. And it really is a true reflection of how we feel and how we worked together, how we collaborated. And I'm glad that you were able to pick that energy up and pick up the sincerity of the video, because throughout the spring and then going into the fall, we really did unite together as a district, and it pulled us together in a way that nothing else has. So it's one of those rainbows that we have found throughout all of this. So we appreciate all of your support, Lee's support, and all of central office as well. So thank you.
And I'll echo that what Teresa just said. And I also think the best thanks was when we were able to see the children come back in through the doors for the first time. I have to say it was like emotional watching this. It was emotional watch those students come off the buses and go into classrooms, and really they were so resilient to go get their temperature taken, to wear a mask, you know, settle into things that were different. And it really was a testament that they really have become self-directed, self-disciplined, been able to become students who are resilient and be able to grow and to take what they've learned. And I think there's no, I say my daughter was a college student, there's no college experience you could pay for to learn what children are learning today. And that will serve them one day well, as hard as it is now. And so that goes to your point, Paul, that you said, that I think we will all be better at the end of this. Right now, even when we don't feel it, but together we've really come through a lot. And thank you to the board and to Lee and to all the district administration, because that's what made this possible.
And a big thank you to our community too, because I think our parents understand everything that we're going through, and you know, with everyone's support, everyone's making it work. So that last slide with the thank you to everyone is really meaningful to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything. I never could have gotten through this without my team. You guys are amazing. We continue to talk every day. We support each other. And, this has been, as you said, Mrs. Shapiro, we've never experienced this. And, we locked arms and we looked at our community for support and our teachers, and we just kept moving. And that is a lesson that everyone can take for the future. Just keep moving. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and we're getting through this together. We have a beautiful community, we're strong, and we can do anything. So thank you for your support. It means everything to all of us every single day. So thank you.
Yeah, and again, just reiterating everybody else, I just want to say thank you to everybody. And when we talked about resilience, rigor, and relationships, it really was about our teachers, our students, our community, and everybody working together to go from March to where we are now is incredible. And our teachers are a huge part of that. And I also want to just say that our secretaries and our cafeteria workers, they are a huge part of what's making this district work so well together. And it's everybody. Everybody has a job, everybody has a role, and everybody is stepping up. So thank you to all of them as well.
Okay, and thank all of you.
Great, thank you. Thank you again. Okay. All right. Let's see here. 6.01, board member comments. Are there any board member comments? No? Okay. We'll close that portion of the meeting. Public participation. Public participation on any district-related matters. Heather, do you have anything to read at this time?
Yes, I have 3 emails actually.
3? Okay.
So the first one is from Ashley Connington, a teacher in the district. Dear Suffern Board of Education, well, I am so thankful that we are on a holiday pause, remote learning right now. At the same time, I also worry greatly about our return next week. I can't help but think what a quarantine or a COVID positive test would mean to any family with children, especially at this time of the year. Quarantine or a COVID positive test is bad enough, but to have it happen during our holiday season and during a very needed holiday break would be even more dreadful. I ask the board to take a moment and reflect what all these holidays were like when your children were little, and so very excited for all this time during this part of the year that this brings. Also reflect on your happy memories with loved ones, the family traditions, holiday shopping, wrapping gifts, baking, cooking, and then the sheer delight of the faces of your loved ones when the holidays actually arrived. Imagine all that joy being taken away due to a quarantine or a COVID positive test. Imagine missing it all and not being able to complete all that you normally do, or even worse, imagine your child being quarantined or testing positive during this time. I had one student who was on quarantine during Thanksgiving, and she told me it was absolutely horrible. I hated it, the worst Thanksgiving ever, all because she was quarantined. She is the reason I write this letter. She was so sad and my heart broke for her. By bringing school back December 10th, you risk ruining many family holiday seasons as well as their holiday break. With so much talk about the mental state of our students, this break is desperately needed. Our kids deserve to have a full, healthy, and happy holiday season for their mental and emotional state. In fact, all members of the Suffern Central community, students, teachers, support staff, administration, all need this break and should anticipate it without a risk of losing it to being positive or quarantined because we went to work. I need not mention what is happening with the numbers. We all know what is happening. So many members of our community are burning out. I am in the trenches, and by far, this is the hardest year of my career. Sundays are gone with hours of planning. Evenings are gone with more planning and grading and recreating the wheel. We need our break. The folks who keep this plane flying do not have a choice in being remote. We can't decide nor have the option, like our students' families, to show up or stay home. We talk about community and taking care of each other. Now is the time to do it. I ask that you consider extending the holiday pause until our return after the new year. I ask that you not partake in the possible destruction of our family's holidays. And the next one's from Maureen.
Oh, no, thank you.
Maureen.
Okay, I'm sorry. The next one was from
Maureen Ritter.
Okay, thank you.
Member of the community, but she also teaches for Suffern.
Okay.
Good evening. I am writing to you again this evening because of my continued concern about Suffern Central's decision to return to in-person learning on December 10th. I applaud the district's recognition that testing is an important factor in keeping hybrid learning operational. However, the manner, the timing, and the efficacy of this testing is questionable. If its sole aim is to open school on the 10th, we have only to look at the soaring numbers of new cases in our community as we weigh the decision to pause. Just today, one of my colleagues who returned from quarantine on November 23rd was told that she was exposed on the 23rd to a child who initially tested negative with a rapid test and was later found to be positive. She is now on her second quarantine, which will end in time for her to return on the 10th to be re-exposed to potential infection. She happens to care for an elderly mother and is the sole provider for her 2 children. Like the rest of us who will be returning on the 10th, we will be forced to weigh our risk against the health and safety of our families and the community at large for just 4 days of in-person instruction. During the last board meeting, Each member and some administrators weighed in on the concept of a pause. Only one member, Mr. Cairns, inserted the word teacher into the equation. Pursuant to that discussion, I'm asking on behalf of my colleagues, allow us to be parents to our children without the fear of bringing something unwanted home for the holidays. Allow those of us who care for our elderly parents the bandwidth to teach from home during the pause so that we may protect our cherished vulnerable loved ones. Allow us to continue the meaningful education of our students without jeopardizing their health and ours. Allow us to contribute our expertise on how to micromanage school openings and closures as we move through the ever-shifting landscape of this pandemic. Allow us to be factored into the decision to pause, teachers or concerned citizens, neighbors in this district, loving parents and caretakers. Allow us to continue to make a difference in the lives of the children we teach. Pause now so that we can return to in-person learning as soon as possible.
Thank you.
And the ayes have one more.
Okay.
And this is Lisa Pasadetti, who is a teacher in the district. I am writing to you tonight in response to your discussion during the last board meeting regarding the holiday pause. Most of you indicated that there was no need for a pause because families in our district have the choice to have their children learn from home if they do not wish to take the risks in-person learning presents. And I believe it was Mr. McKenzie who further explained that school buildings should remain open so that teachers can continue to provide daycare for families that need it. It was only Mr. Cairns who voiced concerns about what leaving school business open around the holidays and in the midst of rising infection rates would do to the staff of this district. My colleagues and I are pouring our hearts and souls into our work right now in an attempt to make all of this okay for the kids we love. Yet, to most of you, we are a second thought, or perhaps not even a thought at all. In my 22 years in this district, I have never felt so defeated. I'd like to take a few minutes to explain to you how opening the buildings between now and winter break affects the staff, so that when you stick by your decision to return to in-person learning on December 10th, you are doing so with a complete picture. The CDC has now listed in-person learning as a high-risk activity. As a result, some of us will voluntarily isolate because, unlike the families in the district, we are not given the choice to avoid risk and teach from home. In addition, there will inevitably be a positive case in those 8 days, as there was at the high school right before Thanksgiving. That will require some of us to quarantine. Very simply, opening buildings for 4 in-person days per cohort will force many of us to miss spending the December holidays with our aging parents and other vulnerable family members, something that is so crucial to our well-being these days. For 4 days of daycare, you are willing to sacrifice the mental health of the very people who are bending over backwards to ensure that the education children receive in this district continues to be nothing less than exceptional. Many of us are parents as well as educators. That means every aspect of our life revolves around doing what is best for children. I don't think anyone would disagree that in-person learning is what is best for children, but not when it comes at the cost of the physical and mental health of those who support and foster that learning. I am respectfully asking that you reconsider your decision to open the buildings on December 10th. Extend the holiday pause until mid-January so that we can gather and laugh with our loved ones worry-free. It will do us a world of good, which in turn will be good for our students. And that is it.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for those that submitted comments tonight. Acting Superintendent, closing comments?
Thank you. So I have a couple. Maybe Matt and Heather, you please.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. So I want to mention one of the principals, I think, mentioned a few of our recent heroes who I'd like to make another special mention of. During Monday's torrential rainstorm, our food service workers, lunch monitors, and transportation teams worked together to deliver meals, breakfast and lunch for 3 days to 800 of our students. It was over 4,500 meals in total. As soon as we started the pause, as soon as we announced the pause, food service got organized to make this happen. Our lunch monitors stepped in and are, together working with our transportation team. There'll be another delivery on Thursday and another one on Monday. The link is on all our socials and on our website if there are any families. These meals are available to any Suffern Central school-age children. They are all free. All you need to do is let us know where we're delivering them to, and you will get them. So a big thanks to them. I also want to thank our buildings and grounds crew. Very few people know we had a water main break Thursday night, Thanksgiving at Viola. And our buildings and grounds crew was there early in the morning on Friday and throughout the day to work with Suez to take care of that water main break. I'm going to mention Sylvia Namnum. A few of our families experienced fires over the weekend, and our bilingual liaison, Ms. Namnun, has been instrumental in helping those families, along with Dr. Castaldo and her team, to support our students and their families during very challenging times like this, but particularly these families with the fires. I also want to mention our IT team with Mr. Coronado's, under Mr. Coronado's leadership, which we woke up Monday morning to find the internet down in 3 of our buildings. That was addressed very quickly. By 8:30, everyone was up and running. And during this remote time, they have also added additional tech help days. So families can sign up for additional tech help through the website. There are links there. I want to thank all of our students, our families, and our teachers who are, adapting to our holiday pause. It's kind of, things are always changing, and that's part of, what life is in the pandemic. But it was, we really, as I mentioned earlier, we have people who continue to step up, go above and beyond. Despite today ending up in frustration for so many people, also with the testing, to have so many people show up, because we know that our kids and their families want to return to school. This is a very challenging time for everyone, and we are working through this together as a community. And I really appreciate everyone's cooperation, patience, and flexibility as we continue to move through this time. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody that you mentioned. I mean, either by name or just by association, for all the help that's gone on over the last few weeks. Just thinking about what you said with the food deliveries yesterday, and that in that rain, in that weather yesterday. I'm sure everybody was soaked, but it's just such a wonderful thing that everybody's doing. And so again, so just I'll echo your thanks, Lee. And on that note, there's really nothing else. I think again, I'm just going to thank all the principals who presented tonight, and thank you for the presentation and for adapting to doing a CSIP virtually. And other than that, we will make a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Mr. McKenzie, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cairns. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. Just for transparency's sake, please note that we are having a planning meeting with the superintendent search firm after this meeting. That is obviously a private meeting with the firm, but I just so that everybody knows that that's happening, because you should know. Other than that, we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a safe couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.